Life is full of unseen battles. Many times the struggles you face are not caused by chance, but by invisible forces working against you. When doors suddenly close, when your peace is stolen, when your energy feels drained, these may not be ordinary problems. They may be signs of something much darker at work. If you do not recognize these signs, you leave yourself unprotected. But once you see them clearly, you can rise above them and guard your life with strength. When life begins to hit you with one misfortune after another, it can feel like the very ground beneath you is shaking. You take one step forward, and suddenly, you are pulled 2 steps back. Perhaps you lose a job unexpectedly. Then a close relationship crumbles, and before you can even breathe, you find yourself battling health issues or financial burdens you never anticipated. When these events begin to stack up without pause, it is easy to dismiss them as bad luck or coincidence. But if you look deeper, you may see that there is more at play than chance. Life has its natural cycles of ups and downs, but when the falls come relentlessly, with no space for recovery, it is a strong signal that unseen forces may be targeting you. This is how negative energy works when directed with intention. It seeks to destabilize you, to break your spirit by attacking different areas of your life all at once. Imagine standing in a storm where the wind does not come from one direction, but from every side, pushing you down no matter how firmly you try to stand. That is what a spiritual attack feels like. It doesn't only touch one corner of your life, it spreads like poison, trying to weaken your foundation. And the danger lies in not recognizing it, because when you accept these misfortunes as normal, you unknowingly give more power to the very forces working against you. Have you noticed how sometimes, just as you begin to make progress, something suddenly blocks your path? You start a business and right when it begins to grow, an unexpected disaster sets you back. You finally feel healthy, but then out of nowhere sickness strikes. You begin to feel joy in your relationships, but conflicts arise that tear it apart. This pattern is not accidental. It is designed to steal your peace, to rob you of your confidence, and to keep you trapped in a cycle of frustration and despair. The truth is, when too many doors close at once, someone may be actively working to shut them. But here lies the power within you: awareness. The moment you begin to recognize that these are not ordinary setbacks, you shift your perspective. You stop blaming yourself, you stop questioning your worth, and instead, you start to protect your energy. You stop allowing external forces to dictate your inner state. When you see clearly that the misfortunes are not random, you reclaim your ability to rise above them. Protection begins not with weapons, not with anger, but with recognition. Once you recognize the pattern, you can break it. So if you find yourself facing storm after storm without reason, pause and look beyond the surface. Ask yourself, who benefits from my downfall? And why does the storm never end? The answer will guide you to take the steps necessary to guard your life. Because the first sign of witchcraft is not the attack itself, it is the unnatural frequency of misfortune that follows you like a shadow. There are days when you wake up tired, even though you slept for long hours. You try to push through the day, but your body feels heavy, your mind feels clouded, and even the simplest tasks feel like climbing a mountain. This is more than ordinary exhaustion. It is a sign that your life force is being drained, that your energy is being stolen before you can even use it. When witchcraft is directed toward you, one of the most effective ways it works is by targeting your vitality. Because when your energy is weak, your spirit becomes vulnerable, and once your spirit weakens, every other area of your life begins to collapse. Energy is the very essence that drives you forward. It fuels your thoughts, your emotions, your actions. Without it, motivation disappears, joy becomes distant, and even hope feels hard to hold on to. This is why those who intend harm often aim directly at your strength. They want you tired, not only in body, but in soul. They want you to feel so worn down that you stop fighting, that you begin to accept defeat as your reality. And if you are not careful, this invisible drain becomes the slowest, yet most dangerous kind of attack. You will notice the difference between natural tiredness and this kind of exhaustion. Natural tiredness improves when you rest, when you take care of your health, when you allow yourself time to recover. But this kind of fatigue lingers no matter what you do. You may eat well, sleep deeply, exercise, or even take a break, but still you wake up as if someone pressed on your shoulders during the night, leaving you weak before the day has even begun. This is not simply about your body. It is about forces pulling on your very core, siphoning away the energy that should belong to you. Think of how your mood shifts when your energy is stolen. Small things irritate you, clarity fades, and your inner fire feels extinguished. This is not an accident. Because when your energy drops, you are less able to see clearly, less able to stand strong, and less able to protect yourself from further harm. It is like cutting off the power of a house. Once the light goes out, the structure is left exposed, vulnerable to whatever enters. The same happens to you when your energy is dimmed. But awareness is the shield that changes everything. The moment you notice that your tiredness is not natural, that it repeats with no logical reason, you begin to reclaim control. You stop blaming yourself for being lazy or weak, and instead you see the attack for what it is. And when you see it, you can counter it by grounding yourself, by protecting your space, by refusing to allow your spirit to remain open to these drains. So when you feel constantly weak, when fatigue clings to you like a shadow, no matter how much you rest, know this: it may not be your body that is failing you, but someone who is deliberately trying to weaken the force that keeps you alive. When the night falls, it should be a time of rest, of peace, a moment where your body and mind find renewal. But for many, the night becomes a battlefield. You lie down hoping to sleep, yet instead, you are visited by disturbing dreams, unsettling images, or shadows that appear too real to dismiss. You wake up suddenly, your heart racing, drenched in sweat, feeling as though something heavy has been pressing down on you. These are not ordinary nightmares. They are signs of interference, of dark forces seeking to reach you when you are most defenseless. The dream world is a place where the subconscious opens, where your spirit is more vulnerable. And this is exactly why attacks often occur in that space. In your waking hours, you can resist, you can think, you can fight with awareness. But in sleep, your guard lowers, and that is when forces that wish to harm you can step in. They plant fear, confusion, and despair into your dreams so that when you wake, you carry the weight of that darkness into your day. If this becomes a cycle, you find yourself not only deprived of rest, but also weakened in spirit. Nightmares that come again and again are not simply the echoes of your mind. They are messages, warnings, and sometimes direct intrusions. Pay attention to the details: shadows chasing you, being trapped in places with no escape, or the constant sense of being watched. These are common patterns when witchcraft is at work. They are designed to disturb your inner calm, to break the connection between your body and your soul's natural healing during the night. And so, what should be your time of strength becomes a time of vulnerability. Restless sleep does more than make you tired. It strips you of your clarity, it takes away your patience, and it clouds your decisions. After nights of torment, you begin to see how quickly your day unravels. You feel irritable, you lose focus, you question your own stability. This is the silent effect of spiritual interference. It does not always strike with visible blows, but it works in the unseen, weakening you from the inside until you begin to doubt your own strength. But here lies the important truth: the night is not meant to be feared. When you recognize that these disturbances are not natural, you can begin to reclaim your rest. Awareness allows you to prepare before you sleep, to protect your space, to cleanse your environment, and to strengthen your spirit so that even in your most vulnerable state, you remain guarded. The more you acknowledge the pattern, the less control it has over you. So when your nights are filled with nightmares, when shadows follow you into your sleep, and when you wake with fear instead of peace, understand this: your dreams are not betraying you. They are warning you that something, or someone, is trying to enter where you should be safe. There are moments in life when the body begins to suffer in ways that no explanation can satisfy. You visit doctors, you undergo tests, and still, they tell you that nothing is wrong. Yet you continue to feel pain, weakness, or sudden sickness that seems to appear and disappear without logic. These mysterious illnesses can be one of the clearest signs that something deeper is taking place. When witchcraft is directed towards you, it often manifests through the physical body, because that is where it can be most disruptive and most difficult to ignore. The body is the vessel that carries your spirit, and when it is attacked, your strength, your confidence, and your ability to move forward all begin to fade. You may notice headaches that appear at the same time each day, sudden fevers with no medical cause, or sharp pains that shift from one place to another without reason. These are not simply random discomforts. They are signals that your body is absorbing negative energy, energy that has been sent with the purpose of breaking you down. When such attacks take root, they often strike at the very parts of your body that keep you balanced. Your energy drains, your appetite changes, and your immune system weakens. This is why you may find yourself catching illnesses more often, or struggling to recover from things that once passed quickly. It is not just about the sickness itself. It is about the interruption of your natural flow of health. And the longer it continues, the more you begin to accept weakness as your normal state of being. But notice how different these patterns feel from ordinary health struggles. Ordinary sickness follows a cycle. It begins, it peaks, and it passes with time or treatment. But when the illness is spiritual in origin, it lingers without progress. It resists medicine, and it leaves you with more questions than answers. You may even sense that your discomfort grows worse in certain places, around certain people, or after certain encounters. This is not coincidence. It is evidence that your suffering is being influenced by forces outside the physical realm. What makes this attack so dangerous is the way it steals not just your strength, but your belief in your own vitality. When your body feels weak, your mind follows. Doubt creeps in, and soon, you stop chasing opportunities, you stop dreaming, you stop fighting, because you no longer believe you are capable. This is exactly the intention behind such attacks, to wear you down not just in body, but in spirit, until you surrender to the weight of constant suffering. Yet the first step to breaking free is recognition. When you can look at your unexplained sickness and see that it is not natural, you stop blaming yourself for being fragile. You begin to see the sickness not as your identity, but as a weapon used against you. And once you see it clearly, you can begin to strengthen your defenses, restore your balance, and remind yourself that your body was never meant to carry this burden. So if you are fighting pain that has no name, sickness that has no cure, or weakness that has no reason, understand that it may not be your body betraying you. It may be someone trying to silence your strength through invisible hands. There is a certain kind of heaviness that enters a home or a relationship without any clear reason. One day everything feels peaceful, conversations are light, and harmony flows naturally. Then suddenly, small disagreements begin to spark into flames, misunderstandings multiply, and anger rises out of nowhere. Families that once stood united begin to split, friendships that seemed unbreakable suddenly turn cold, and workplaces that were once supportive transform into arenas of tension. This kind of division does not happen by accident. Often, it is the result of energies being manipulated to stir conflict where there was once peace. When witchcraft is directed at someone, one of the most effective tactics is to create discord among the people closest to them. Because once your relationships are poisoned, you are left isolated, cut off from the very support that could keep you strong. Think of how easy it is to break someone when they stand alone. That is the strategy, separating you from love, from trust, and from unity, so that you are left vulnerable to further attack. Pay close attention to the way arguments seem to arise out of nothing. Perhaps you said something harmless, yet it was received with hostility. Perhaps a friend suddenly becomes suspicious of you without reason. Or maybe a partner begins to doubt your loyalty, even though you've given them no cause. These sudden shifts in perception are often not born from truth, but from seeds of negativity being sown into the relationship. It is as if an invisible hand is twisting words, altering intentions, and turning hearts against one another. What makes this tactic so dangerous is its subtlety. Because when you begin to fight with those closest to you, you rarely stop to think that the conflict could be influenced by outside forces. Instead, you blame yourself, you blame them, and in the process the bond weakens. Soon, suspicion replaces trust, silence replaces communication, and distance replaces love. And once the connection is broken, the attack has succeeded. This is why protecting your energy is not just about yourself. It extends to those around you. When you see sudden hostility without cause, when harmony is disrupted with no explanation, you must recognize that these are not just human flaws at work. They may be signs that someone is actively working to dismantle your relationships. Awareness in these moments is critical, because once you understand the true source of the conflict, you can approach it with clarity and calm, instead of feeding into the chaos. The strength of your spirit is not only measured by how well you stand alone, but also by how well you guard the unity in your circle. And so, if you notice unnatural conflict rising like a fire that refuses to be put out, remember this: it may not be you, it may not be them, but the influence of forces that seek to divide what was never meant to be broken. Sometimes the most obvious signs of a spiritual attack are the ones that appear right in front of you, yet are easy to dismiss. You walk into your home and notice a strange object in a corner where it doesn't belong. Or you step outside and see powders, knots, or markings near your doorway that you cannot explain. At times, it is not what you see but what you smell. An odor so foul and unnatural that it lingers even when there is no source to be found. These are not coincidences, and they are not harmless. They are often the physical traces of rituals, objects deliberately placed to anchor negative energy into your space. Witchcraft rarely works in the abstract alone. Those who practice it often use physical items to carry intention, because these items act like vessels, holding and directing energy toward you. This is why discovering something unfamiliar around your environment should never be taken lightly. It may be a bundle of strange strings, powders scattered across your path, a doll or figure left where you least expect it. Even something as simple as a feather, a coin, or a small bag can be used with hidden intention. While to the eye it may appear meaningless, the energy it carries can be heavy and destructive. The smells are another powerful indicator. Sometimes you notice the scent of decay, sulfur, or burning without any natural cause. These odors are not just offensive, they are signals that something unnatural has been invited into your space. The unseen world often leaves behind sensory evidence, and smell is one of the strongest ways for you to become aware of it. When you walk into a place and your spirit immediately feels uneasy, when the air feels heavy or polluted, though nothing is physically wrong, it is because your body is responding to what your eyes cannot see. These objects and smells are meant to create fear, to make you question your safety, to weaken your confidence in your own environment. If they succeed, then every time you see something unusual, your own mind continues the attack by feeding you with worry and dread. That is how the cycle grows, through external placements and your internal reaction to them. But the moment you recognize them for what they are, the power begins to dissolve, because the truth is, objects are only carriers. Their strength does not lie within themselves, but in the belief and intention behind them. So when you encounter these things, do not dismiss them, but do not surrender to fear either. Understand that they are signs, clear evidence that someone is working against you. They are reminders to strengthen your protection, to cleanse your space, and to reinforce your spirit. Because the presence of these objects is not random, it is a message. And that message is simple: someone wants to break your peace.